So good Shabbos, everyone. It's great to see everyone here this evening. And again, I want to wish everyone a good Labor Day weekend. So some of you know that now I have two children that are in college. And 3 years ago, when I took my son Joshua to Austin, the University of Texas, it was a very easy move in. He had a couple duffel bags. We got to his nice dorm, Callaway, which a lot of the Jewish kids in Austin live. It's a nice dorm. We moved in. It took about 20 minutes. Put his clothes in a drawer, hung up his Astros pennant. He said, "Dad, I'm out of here. I'm heading to my new fraternity house. You're ready. You can do whatever you want." That was a pretty easy move-in. But then last week, I had a daughter moving halfway across the country to the College of William and Mary in Virginia. And that was not an easy move. We showed up at Hobby Airport last Thursday morning at 4:45 in the morning with 6 of the largest bags you've ever seen. Thank God Southwest does not charge baggage fees. And we had to fly from Houston Hobby to Atlanta, an awful airport, no offense to anyone here from Atlanta, and then our on way to Richmond, Virginia. We landed in Richmond, Virginia, and I had to go rent the biggest Suburban I've ever been in my life. And that was only at noon. And at that point, we then had an hour drive to Williamsburg, Virginia. Now, William and Mary is the second oldest university in the United States. It was formed in 1693. It's a beautiful campus, an incredible area of the country. And the university is old, and I think the dorm I moved my daughter in is even older than the university. Luckily, her room had air conditioning, unlike about half the rooms in her dorm. We did luck out on that. But there were plenty of stairs to climb up. There's no elevator in this dorm. And the dorm, her dorm, sharing with a girl from Maryland, was about as big as this stand right here. I got all those bags up. I was a dutiful husband and father. And then Lisa said, "Brian, can you please go pick up the Amazon packages I already sent?" I was more than happy to get out of that dorm room. So I headed over to the campus post office, assuming there'd be maybe 1 box or 2 boxes. No, my wife had sent 13 boxes on Amazon. So there I was, about 3:30, with all the boxes, more move-in to do. And that night, I've never been more sore and exhausted in my life. So Friday morning, we woke up, and there were plenty of Target trips to make. And after our 4th trip to Target, my wonderful daughter called Lisa and me in our car and said, "Dad, I want you to know I brought my mezuzah." And I didn't know she brought a mezuzah. I was going to bring it up Parents' Weekend. You have 30 days to put up your mezuzah. But Dad, I brought my mezuzah that I bought in Israel this past summer. Will you and Mom come to my dorm on your way back from Target and help me put up my mezuzah? I had an instant burst of energy. I've never been happier in my entire life as a father. But then she said, "Dad, of course you have a scroll with you. You're a rabbi, right, Dad?" "Well, honey, I am a rabbi, but I don't keep kosher scrolls in my back pocket. You could have told me yesterday. I could have easily picked one up at our sisterhood gift shop." Where's Vicky? At our sisterhood gift shop. Or any other places. "So, honey, I don't have a scroll." "Dad, how could you forget to bring a scroll?" Well, it was 1:30 on a Friday afternoon, and we were leaving Sunday morning, so I was determined to find a scroll. And of course, my challenge is that I was in Williamsburg, Virginia. So I did what all of us do when we need something in a hurry. I went to Amazon. And Amazon, you can order kosher scrolls, but it would take 4 or 5 days to get to Williamsburg. So then I called, there is a synagogue in Williamsburg. I called the synagogue, and unfortunately, they were closed. There is a wonderful Hillel on campus that our own and wonderful Gershon Lidd. Maybe you knew him as Gary Lidd. He grew up here. I see Marilyn back there. And Dora Lee is his mother. Maurice Lidd is his father. And he grew up here and started the Hillel, William and Mary, several years ago. I called the Hillel, but unfortunately, there was no answer. So I had one more chance to find a kosher scroll. I called Chabad. Now, it's not often that I call Chabad. It's nothing disrespectful. I have friends who are Chabad rabbis, but I don't always call Chabad. But I want to tell you what happened when I called the Chabad rabbi. I called and explained the situation, And he said, no problem, I'll be in your daughter's dorm in 30 minutes. And he showed up there in 30 minutes as Lisa and I were unpacking stuff from Target. And not only did he bring a kosher scroll, he had 2 challahs with him, which was very sweet. And then he asked my daughter, what's one mitzvah you can do every single day? My daughter thought for a moment and said, well, what about making new friends at all the parties I'm going to go to? He said, no, that doesn't count. And he pulled out a tzedakah box and told her every day put a little extra change in, and that can be one of the mitzvot you perform every day. And then he also gave her some candles that she could light on Shabbat. And together, this rabbi that I just met, my wife, me, and Noah, put up a mezuzah. And all the kids in the dorm came down. They couldn't understand what this thing was and why we were putting it up. Noah was a little red, but we put it up. And Lisa and I were very touched. And I was reminded something there as a parent, not necessarily as a rabbi, but more importantly as a father. We've been very blessed to raise our 3 children at Beth Yeshurun Day School and at Emory and Weiner. My kids have only known Jewish schools. They've only known schools where almost all their classmates are Jewish. They've only known Jewish camps. And for Lisa and I to send our daughter to a school that has over 400 Jewish students, it's 7%, and the Jewish community is growing, but it's certainly different than Emory and Weiner or Beth Yeshurun Day School. It brought a lot of peace to my wife and me, knowing that there's Rabbi Lit and this new wonderful Chabad rabbi that I met. It brought us a lot of peace knowing that there were rabbis there for my daughter now in her new campus. And it reminded me of the difference a rabbi can make. A difference I hope and pray that I'll continue to make in my own ways for many years to come as I'm blessed to be a rabbi here at Beth Yeshurun. I have differences with Chabad. I don't agree with everything they do, but I will say I was re-inspired that day and reminded of the difference a rabbi can make just by showing up, just by being there. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.